I'm not getting any sound from you all. Are you getting sound from me? Okay, microphone. How's that? All right, can you hear me? Camera. Microphone's on. Microphone's on, camera's on. Sounds on. Okay.
Fine.
Okay, I can hear you now.
We hear you now. Can you hear us now?
Now too. Good.
Maybe we just had
Good.
a connection going on there.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
We are experimenting with backgrounds.
You like it?
Oh my goodness, yes.
We're in a cafe. We're having a.
We're at a cafe, just chilling.
Okay. Yeah.
No fun
So-
with backgrounds.
I'm at home.
You're at home.
Yeah,
We're actually at home too. We're at home. We just got a funky background. We thought we'd have fun.
Background, or is this your lovely house?
No,
Well-
this is a fake background. We thought we'd have fun with backgrounds today.
Okay, that's cool. Very cool.
Try
I
something-
don't dare because you know me, the minute I do something different, it's not gonna work.
Don't do it.
And we'll futz all day with trying to make it work, you
I
know?
Work. So how are you
I'm
doing?
not,
How are you doing?
oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's we're having air conditioning hell here this
Oh,
week.
no.
Oh, listen, we had the one go out down in the family room. And then 2 nights ago, the one went out on the bedroom floor. So if we're going, what? You know, the air conditioning gods must be mad at us. So of course, the soonest we could get anybody in to help us is next Tuesday. Fortunately, we have ceiling fans everywhere, so we're running the ceiling fans, and now we've additionally got the floor fans running as well. And between those two, we're able to keep it to the point where we can actually sleep,
Right.
which is wonderful. But
Right.
we're going 2 air
Two,
conditioning
both of them at the
units.
same time. So with you, there nobody could be there till like a week from Tuesday, or this coming.
Yeah, it was a week before. Yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks now.
Oh,
So, but all the guys, all the air conditioning guys are busy
yes, they're crazy busy.
because air conditioners don't go out, of course, until summer when you have to run them.
Right.
So anyway, it's been nuts. So
I know it's a crazy, man. So y'all keep your fans on, because did you hear about that 84-year-old couple who died in their trailer park because their air conditioner went out and they didn't have a check on them and they just found them dead. They died of heat exhaustion. They were 84. So you keep your fans
In a
on.
trailer.
Yeah, I know you don't live in a trailer, but but keep your fans on.
yay, trailer parks. I don't know why anybody does, but God bless them. People do, and I do understand why they do, because in some places it is the most affordable way to live, and people have lived in them forever.
Right.
But in Texas, we call trailers when I lived tornado bait.
Yeah.
Haven't you noticed that whenever this country has tornadoes, it's the trailer parks?
The
Haven't
trailer
you
park.
noticed that?
Noticed it. Yes.
Tornado food.
Trailers go flying, and that's where everybody dies. Unless you're in Oklahoma, and then everyone dies.
Right.
So,
Doesn't, yeah.
it's kind of like there are just some places where you got to be careful because you are tornado bait.
Well, y'all be
And,
because of the heat. I mean, July was the hottest month recorded on Earth in history. So
Mhm.
of course your air conditioner is going to go out, the hottest month in recorded history on Earth.
Right, you're right. So, and we even get we have checkups, but air conditioner can drop out anytime. You never know.
We're
Even with checkups.
yeah, even with checkups. That's what I say. Yeah, even if you have your checkups, we've done that before too. But y'all is your house like got a lot underground? Like we basically live in a hobbit hole over here. Like a lot of our houses underground, our condos underground. So we don't even need to run our air conditioner at night because our bedroom's like basically underground. So do y'all have like some underground getaways, hobbit holes you can get to?
The family room is underground. So for the most part, unless it's just seriously hot out, it stays pretty comfortable. So we're very happy about that one. But the bedroom, we're a townhouse. The bedroom is on the 3rd floor.
So it's going to be hot.
Man.
Yeah. Caliente.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure the air conditioning people love coming to our place because they have to take that thing up to the attic, which is above the 3rd floor.
So that's going to be very caliente. So you could tell us it's just us here, but are you guys running around naked all the time now? Did you just put on clothes for this today? It's okay.
And yes, I did, but no, because the middle floor, which is the living room and the kitchen and the breakfast room and the dining room, we have air. Now, I'm trying not to speak too much about it because if that one goes out, we're hurting.
Yeah, but we don't want it to know. Don't let it know that it's your guys.
Oh, please, we are just. If that one goes out, there is a dark. If this one goes out, I'm going to ask my astrology knowledgeable friends if Mercury is in retrograde.
I will tell you that I you know how I sort of love astrology just as a hobby. I don't let me run. Mercury is starting to go. It will go completely retrograde on August 23rd, I believe. That means it's starting to go now. What happens is it starts turning. And so on 23rd is when it actually goes full retrograde. So now it's the beginning. It's, I think like 2 weeks before and then 2 weeks after. So I think when you hit August 23rd until about the middle of September, we're going to be in retrograde. So.
So this is only going to continue. This
Yes.
has just been the craziest time.
I know. I mean, that's what we're saying too, because you're talking about you having your air conditioner out, and Todd and I were just talking about this because we were going to ask you about this because I wonder if this might have anything to do. People are hot, Their air conditioners are going out. The heat's been building all summer. And then they say on the news that in Atlanta, and especially here in the South even, the August is the highest murder rate month of the year. You know, and the police have been trying to scratch their head about it. But here's even the bigger mystery. Every other month, the top reason for murder is escalated conflicts. Like people get in a fight, they pull out their gun, and somebody shoots somebody, right? So, and we hear about that every day, freaking day on the news. But except for August, what happens in August, domestic violence and death overtakes escalated death. And then after August, it goes back down. Escalation comes back up. So in your infinite wisdom, and sitting though in your house over there without air conditioning, do you have any wisdom and insight of why domestic violence goes crazy in August? Tell us, enlighten us. What did you know? Inquiring minds want to know.
I think that when people get unbelievably hot and uncomfortable, it probably doesn't help. And when you've got guns, it's I think the old adage is when you've got access to guns, more people will have a tendency to use them. True that. And it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem to me like everybody's locking them up much as they're being used.
No,
they're sitting on the counter or on the dining room table or in the living room. I mean, they don't seem to be somewhere where people have to turn the dial on the lock to get.
No, not at all. We have a. I heard a story the other day that in our building, a guy was renting a condo in our building because he owns one across the street, and he rented here because they had to do a renovation on their condo because, get this, they live on the 6th floor. Some guy on the 11th floor got a box of bullets delivered to his house. He set the box on his stove and accidentally turned on his stove, and all the bullets went off, throwing off all the fire alarms in the sprinkler system. And of course, their place was at the bottom of this rung. The 6th floor is where the condos begin in their unit. Everything below that is like common area and parking. And so they were like the landing pad for all of this. And they had to move in here in our building to oversee the renovation of their building. I'm like, wait a minute. There's so much wrong with that story. Like, first of all, I got a box of bullets in the mail. Can you just like mail order this crap now? Like, I want bullets. I'm just going to go to Amazon or whatever. Is that the way it works?
That's how they get them now. They mail order them. That's how everybody's getting everything. I mean, it's like, go ahead and get yourself something. Get yourself, an AR-15, and you can mail order. I mean, who cares?
So then the next
those bullets could kill somebody. They're flying around.
Right. That's the two is nobody got killed. So the next question is, when you get a package and you got this whole house of stuff to set things on, and you set it on the stove, is that like, was there no place else to put it?
Floor.
Did he put it on the floor? Did he put it beside the stove? Was there a counter there? But no, he put this any box. I mean, who does that? Who does that? Have you ever put a box on the stove? Have you ever done this? It's okay. You can confess if you did. Have you ever got it?
No.
Ever put anything on the stove that you're not cooking?
Well, as a cop once said to Mark and I, because during COVID, Mark and I, like a lot of people, one of the things that we started to do, we couldn't go to the gym. One of the things that we started to do was walking around the neighborhood. And we got to know a lot of the policemen who have always been, going through the neighborhoods and making sure everybody's fine. We learned all the policemen by first name. And they'd be waving and we'd be waving and they'd stop for this or that. And we'd talk to them about what they were seeing. And it turns out that many of them were going down to our Chattahoochee River beneath us because we're right up at the top of that park. And they had it with a wire fence all around it because people were not to go down there and congregate. Well, all these people started climbing over the wire because they wanted to go to the park. And this included people who were obese, and people who were tiny, and they would get caught at the top of the fence.
Ah.
So Mark and I would walk down there, and there would be all these people on top of this wire fence who were stranded. And their friends would be helping them down to the other side so they could run down to the river. And so there was always a cop down there and watching this. And Mark and I would go down and talk to the policeman, and the policeman would say, well, you can't fix stupid. So
That sounds like
in
an
the name of
explanation.
the man who put the bullets on the oven, on the
On the
stove, you can't fix stupid.
That is so stupid. I know. I mean, first of all, I'm getting a picture of fat people on this fence flailing their limbs, their little chubby limbs flailing in the air.
You would not believe watching them attempting to climb that fence and get over the top and be stuck on the top. And their friends would be helping them come down off the top of the fence.
And they're like teeter-tottering up there. Come on, pull a little harder. And they're like,
It would be just really, seriously. It's so important for you to get down to that creek that you're not supposed to be going down to, that you're going to get stuck at the top of this fence.
right,
Honestly.
great.
But
You can't fix stupid. That's crazy.
You cannot fix stupid. The cops would be watching and just shaking their heads. It's like, really,
So yeah, I guess
And we were waiting to see somebody fall off, because that would have been even better. So
that'd be better. You just got that for TikTok. Fence failed.
yeah.
Speaking of
Oh,
COVID, have you heard this too? We had a whole list of things we are going to ask you to get your wisdom about. Have you heard there's been a new surge of COVID? Have you heard about the COVID surge?
Yes, of course. Well, of course there is. It didn't go anywhere.
Right.
And it is an active virus, and
Exactly.
it's going to always be active, like the flu.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and it's, of course, and what I'm hoping is that all of this discussion about good, bad, and otherwise about it is going to go away. You're always going to have the people who are willing to get shot.
Right.
You're always going to have the people screaming about it. You're always going to have the people who aren't going to get them.
Right.
What I'm hoping is that it becomes like the flu,
Yes.
and people will just shut up about it. And
Right.
some of us will get, the vaccines, and some of us won't. Now, what they predict for the fall is that there will be new vaccines. And those of us who really don't want to get it, especially those of us who are over 65, will still get our vaccines.
Right. Yeah, that's
And
what we were thinking too.
We will, and they're going to have a new inoculation for that, because we will have this new COVID outbreak, a new bacteria, or virus rather.
Right.
And we're going to have an outbreak. So
Yeah, and that's what we're having right now. They say that and I agree with you, it's gonna be like the flu. And don't you think so, Todd?
Yeah, your friend Gary.
Yeah, shh, don't say anything. We're not supposed to say anything. We have a.
Sorry.
We're not supposed to tell
what
anybody.
was that?
But that what was that?
Sorry.
No, you didn't hear that. So but that does bring up an interesting question. Like because remember back when we had COVID, the protocol was you got to let everybody know if you have it. If you ended up catching COVID, would you feel compelled now to call everybody, or just like, nah, why would you want to spread panic?
No,
Because
I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. I just know that Mark and I would both get the shots.
right, you get the
And
shot.
We have the flu shots every year. We just got, our shots for shingles. We got our shots for pneumonia, and those actually last a while. But we do get our shots. We get our flu shots. Now, there are people who are vehemently opposed to those. Okay, fine, let them go. But we really believe that they are things that we don't want to get.
Yes.
And we just, whatever.
Do you know what we think? You know what I think we need a shot for? Stupid.
They don't-
Can we do that? Can we get a shot for stupid for the people?
They won't take it.
But they will just, they'll be too stupid.
They won't.
They're too stupid to take it. We're
Right,
going to give those shots on those people on the fence, like, stuff.
right, exactly. Exactly. I just really don't care what anybody else thinks. You know what? It's just, now I have to tell you too, that I did recently lose a friend to COVID.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry, man.
and
Sorry.
it was terrible. Our girlfriend lost her husband, and
Man.
and I keep telling my other girlfriends who refuse to get any shots for anything and just keep saying COVID's nothing, COVID's nothing. I finally said to her, would you quit saying that? She's, but it's not. I said, no, it's not. I have now have two girlfriends who have lost their husbands to it. I don't care if they had pre-existing conditions. One day they were alive and the next day they were dead.
Right.
And she just lost her husband. Don't tell me it's nothing.
It's still something. Yeah.
We have a girlfriend who's grieving. She
Right.
just lost her husband and she is now a widow. Don't tell me it's nothing. I don't
Right.
want to hear it.
I'm so sorry about the loss of your friend. I know, and that's the other thing about this is that, it is still a serious thing. And people die from the flu every year. We know that too.
Right.
So I think we're going to find, and a lot of those people had pre-existing conditions, or a lot of people die from the flu were maybe older or younger, vulnerable. And I think that's to get to your point earlier. That's what COVID. We're going to have people that's going to still die from COVID, but I don't think it's going to be like it was before. Especially because a large number of us have decided to do the vaccine thing.
Yes, yeah.
Part, and so.
Right. It's true. Because so many of us got the vaccine, it has really gotten down to the fact that we have close to herd immunity,
Right.
So it's not going to be nearly as dangerous as it was, but we're still going to have millions who die from it.
But so, and this is what I kind of think too. I'll answer if you'll answer. It's like, if you went and got a COVID test like today and you turned up COVID positive, would you feel compelled like to call everybody you've been around the past week and let them know, or you just be like if you got the flu, like if I got the flu, I wouldn't call everybody I got the flu about. Are we at that point with COVID now where we can say, you know what, I don't feel like I need to call everybody up and around. I'll stay in. I'll wear a mask when I go out till I'm negative, and
Yes.
But you don't feel like, would you call everybody or would you not? What would be your?
You know what, I probably would call everybody, because I'm around a certain group of people at the same time each week.
Right.
And I would let them know simply as a courtesy, because I would still, just like if I had a bad cold.
Right.
I would let them know. Because a bad cold is one of those things that kind of like goes like wildfire.
Exactly.
You touch things and all of that. You can definitely, it's so contagious. It's definitely just the most disgusting thing.
Right.
So, and you're good friends. You're always touching them and
Hugging.
hi.
Speak. Yeah.
You talk to them close up. Let's face it, it's really.
All right, let me throw you another curveball then. What if you were at a large party of people? Let's say there was like 50 or 60 people there. And
How could you?
Would you call the host and let them know, like the host of the party, say, hey, your party I came to, I should let you know? Or are you just going to put them in an awkward position? Are they going to have to? I mean, what are you going to do at that point, right?
No.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything you can do. I would just call the friends I knew that I spent a lot of time with.
That's a good
just
policy.
as a courtesy. I kind of have simple methods. I would probably just call my friends who I spent the time with and say, hey, you know what, I just want to let you know I have a terrible cold and I'm very snot laden. You might think about that,
Right.
So that's probably what I would do.
So what else is, did you see this too? I'm just throwing things at you because we had this list. Did you see that in Florida, leprosy is on the rise again?
No.
Did you see that? Well, first of all, most of the cases of leprosy in America occur in Florida because of the climate. But somehow recently in the past year, it's like way up. They're even talking about it maybe like a local endemic going on down there. And they're thinking, and a lot of times they think it happens in Florida because of immigration or people coming in. This seems to be internally passed around. They're talking about how it's like this year's dramatically up in Florida and across the country. The leprosy is, something we almost think of in biblical terms is making.
Where did it come from?
I know, and it's not, contrary to what they used to think, it's not very contagious. You can't get it from just casual contact. It has to be prolonged, close contact. It's not like, like they made you think in the movie Ben-Hur, if you looked at somebody with leprosy, unclean, it's really not like that. But it is interesting that that's another, and of course in the great state of Florida too, so of course everything happens in Florida. It's so.
Of course, I would like to think that Florida brought it on. Oh, all
I think
of
the Lord punishing. I'm just kidding.
Oh man, they're just nuts. I mean, I don't know how anyone can go to Florida anymore. They're just nuts. I
just had a friend who bought a house down there, or a client actually, and I'm like, I wanted to say, really? You bought a house in?
No, I know. But still, so many people go there because they don't have state income tax.
Right.
But I honestly believe, yes, but if you're paying $1,000 a month for your house insurance because of all the hurricanes they have,
yeah.
What good does it do you if you're not paying state income taxes?
And their sales tax is through the roof, man. I mean, it's insane.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it all goes out in the end. You go to your grocery store and buy a $1 soft drink, and you pay $1.50 for it. Because I'm exaggerating, but
so I don't get that at all. Why everyone loves it, because that homeowners insurance is so high.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they are paying a drastic amount per month because of the hurricanes.
Right. Yeah, and that season's coming up too. I think that'll be the next thing because this crazy heat. I'm kind of curious what's going to be happening because that kind of fuels the storms, and I'm concerned. Do you have any? Todd has weather instincts. Do you have any concerns?
It's going to be a hot August. It's going to be this. Yeah, we'll hit 100 soon.
I think so. I think August is
hot, man.
Really hot. Really.
Well, the thing I should have told you this at the beginning is that I just have a little bit of a limited time today. I only had about 30 minutes or so. But I mean, just to kind of let you know, sort of getting in my landing ramp here as I was looking at the clock, because I'm like, where did the time go? But we did solve a few problems. I think the biggest thing we need to come up is that vaccine for stupid. If we could come up with that, I think we could at least force people.
They won't take it.
They won't take it though. Yeah.
Well, how much time do you have? Because
we have a few minutes. Keep going.
Okay, I had two topics, but I know, Todd, you mentioned that you might have a friend who might want to come on about the weight thing.
My best friend's wife, but she can't.
Yes.
But she's interested.
Right. Well, if in fact another topic I do want to talk about at some point, but before that, and that is the use of these diabetes drugs that everyone is now taking who's overweight, and they're paying a really high amount of money to take these, and their plan is not to ever go off them. They'll pay $1,000 a month for the rest of their lives if they have to, if it keeps their weight down, and they will not exercise because they don't have to.
So it's Yosintis or whatever it says. Is that the drug that everybody's talking about?
Ozempic and Mounjaro and another one. They're all buying them now for $1,000 a month, and they're taking them, and it keeps the weight off. Now they throw up, and they have a number of different side effects, but it does keep the weight off. But they don't exercise. They don't have to.
See, Diane,
don't have to.
I love working out. I love going to the gym, and I don't know why people don't.
I know, but they don't, because it's not about getting into shape. It's
Right.
about losing weight, and so they'll pay $1,000 a month.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't. Is it really $1,000 a month? I didn't realize it was that much.
Oh no, doctors, the drug companies are raking it in, so they're all getting on the bandwagon because they can make so much money for prescribing it for nothing but losing weight. And they even talk about, these people even talk about how, well, I'm never going to stop because I'm losing weight and I don't have to do anything but take this medication.
It's gotta
And
be,
they're not interested in exercising. So I thought at some point we could have an extensive conversation about that. I've been reading articles.
You have been.
I have, but I also want to talk about the movie Oppenheimer.
Oh my God, I wanted to talk to you about that. Did you see it?
Oh my God, yes, and I want to see it again. And I just read in Wired magazine this great interview with Christopher Nolan, who made the movie.
Right.
And have you guys seen the movie?
we want to.
No, we have not seen, we haven't seen that or Barbie.
Oh, it's so amazing.
Yeah. So what is your review on it? Because I want to see it really bad. Give us the review. What is your?
Well, first off, the gentleman who plays Oppenheimer is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the story of Oppenheimer, which is mostly what it is, and then of course it centers on the atom bomb that he created with a team of scientists. And it is just, between those elements alone, it is just riveting. Because Oppenheimer was an amazing genius.
Right.
And yet he had to hire a team of people who knew a different form of science, because he knew one type of science, and he needed a team of a different type of science in order for them to create this bomb and put it together.
Right.
And so all of these brainiacs came together. They didn't always get along. But he not only had this amazing genius mind, he also had a sense of humor.
Yes.
And said the most outrageous things to people. He
Right.
had an amazing personality.
Right.
And of course, they built it during World War II, particularly when Germany was going after Jews. And of course, most of this team was Jewish because they were the scientists.
Right.
At that. So there was a lot of the political stuff going on as well.
Yes.
And anyway, and they really examined a lot of his life. And after he delivered the bomb and it killed everybody in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, then one politician went after him, trying to pound it in that he was communist. So he made his life hell for a while. I mean, it went through the whole history of his life.
Yes.
In addition to the creation of the bomb. And for a lot of people, the movie was also terrifying, because when he created that bomb and they showed the dropping of it in the desert, it was just unbelievable.
Right.
So you have to see the movie. I want to see it again.
Really?
Because he was such an interesting character, and it really focused on his life. And then it focused on also the bomb. So, and what he went through.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like most Christopher Nolan movies, it's not linear, right? The story is told like in about a circle. Yeah. Right.
Right. It is. It is. It's not linear. It's riveting.
Right.
Because his life was so not normal.
It wasn't. Yeah.
He was not normal. He was not normal.
Yeah, it's sort of like circles, like he was the hero, and then they tried to make him a communist. His wife, they tried to make her a communist, right, or whatever. Well, just so you know, I'm a huge science geek, and I've read a lot of books, or not a lot, but several, about the whole making of the bomb, the science behind it, the engineering. You know how incredibly miraculous. I don't think people quite comprehend what they did at that time period with the technology they had was freaking amazing. Because even today, there are countries today who still can't quite get the bomb right. You know, here it is. I mean, North Korea is still trying to make a bomb. You know, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. And they did this in 1945 without like supercomputers or, I mean.
They did not. They did all their calculations by hand.
Right.
And you just think, wow, what kind of brains did they have?
Yes.
To bring together these experts of each, each individual kind of thought on it. And there was just, and he was one in charge of all that.
Right.
And bringing it together. And then when they tested it, it was just, you know, you felt that whole power of it. And they were behind these, you know, fences and all of these things and waiting for this thing to drop and not knowing what it was going to do.
Right. So I don't want to get too spoiler alert here to anybody out there's watching. So if they're saying watching anything, spoiler ahead. So I'm going to ask you a question about the movie. I'm going to go ahead and say this may be a bit of a spoiler. So if anybody's watching and don't want to hear it, but so
Sure.
I had always, a lot of several of the books I'd read about this, you know, that they never ever called it the bomb when they were working on it. They called it the package or the device, but they would never use that word because they did not actually, they weren't told, but there was a little bit of something they were led to believe that we're never going to use this. It's going to be a threat. But if we do use it, we'll use it on a military. There was this military base off of Japan where they were like a couple thousand soldiers. And they thought, well, if they drop it on a base with soldiers, those men enlisted, they knew what they're getting into. And then Japan could see the bomb go off from their coast and it would be like a warning sign to them. But when they woke up that August morning and found out that hundreds of thousands of civilians, women and children, had been exposed to that bomb, that they were devastated. Was that brought up in the movie at all, or was that?
Part of that is true, but yes, the devastation was, he personally was really, really torn by that. And one of the ways that he did eventually get into trouble and had to undergo part of the committee about communism was because he knew that this device could destroy the world if it wasn't shared with other countries who would then know that if they had this, there would be mutual destruction.
Right. Yes.
And he got in trouble for that. But no, once he knew that it had been dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that he was horrified. He felt horrified. And
did he feel deceived? Because they felt like there was this sort of one theory was that they were not deceived, but kind of a little misled, that they were really did not actually think that Truman would drop the bomb on civilians, that it would just be used for a military demonstration if he used it all, and that they were that maybe they weren't told that, but then I heard later on they're like, we never told you that, you know. They said, well, you kind of indicated. I mean, it was this sort of little game they played or whatever. That seemed like that's a critical element to me, because like you said, from what I read, that what Stalin and his people used when they were trying to build the bomb, they were like, their way of getting to these people, like the United States just showed they're going crazy. They're going nuts. They've just killed civilians. If there's not another country to check them, and Russia was the closest one to do it, if we don't get the bomb, the United States is going to become a monster. And that's how a lot of people did sell secrets to communist people back then. And people went to death for that. That lady got executed, Ethel Rosenberg or whatever. But both, yeah, her husband, both of them. But they turned out they didn't do anything wrong. I think later on they were exonerated. But yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
there was no way they could have access to the secret to it and
Right.
how it was made. What happened was, and I will say this, once it was developed, literally within hours, once it was developed and they showed that it worked in that one drop where they showed that the efficacy of it, the military was right there saying, thank you so much. That's what we paid you for. Took it away.
Really?
They no longer had it.
Right.
They took it away. And that bothered him. He knew that with the military immediately taking it away, it was not a good thing. And then literally within no time, they dropped it on Japan. And it was horrifying.
Yeah.
So, but yes, the military came right away, a whole platoon and the general, and it was taken away. And then it became a secret, total secret as to what they were going to do with it.
Right.
But everyone suspected it would be in the military, it would be Japan.
Right.
Because Japan was still very aggressive.
Germany had already surrendered at this point. Japan was, and they felt like Japan would never surrender. But I think the theory was, the hope was they drop this bomb off the coast of Japan, they blow up this island, everybody from Japan can see it. It would be enough of a deterrent. Not that they would have to wake up to women and children charred to death, in Hiroshima and everything.
No.
But that was pretty horrible.
They bombed the cities because Japan still wasn't acquiescing to anything. So then they did bomb the cities and they killed hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, and I think the justification was, well, we know 100,000 people are going to die, but it's going to save millions, for this war keeps going on. And
us.
Yeah.
It's going to save us.
Yeah, it's going to save us.
Yes.
Wow.
And the movie was just riveting because of the way they did it. And then after that, even though he had done that patriotic task, then they just suspected, all they did was try to annihilate him, because there was one particular man in the government who was really upset that he had taken second place to him and really wanted to deny him any kind of acclaim that he got for it. And he was doing it by trying to convince everybody that he was a communist activist.
Was that Robert Downey Jr.? Was that
Yeah.
actor? Yeah, that was, I know that, yeah.
It was Robert Downey.
I heard he did a great job in that role. He crushed it. They said he was amazing.
Oh, he was. He
Yeah.
was unbelievable. Oh, his acting job was unbelievable. And it had a great cast.
Yes.
It had
Cast was
amazing cast.
amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
Cast was amazing.
It was just, there were so many people.
So many A-listers in that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad it's doing well because, and I will tell you this too, because for the science geek, because when I've read the science books about it, up until this point in time, this whole theory of atoms and quantum was just something science has talked about. But when they got that first nuclear pile going and it reacted the way the math predicted it would, the nuclear reaction occurred, that they all looked at it and realized this is the first time in human history that we've actually proved, that there's an atomic structure that we're not, that they up to that point in time. I mean, there have been other experiments done, but that was it, man. That was the catch experiment. Then in 1945, at that point, it crossed over from being a theory to reality. That the atoms, the atomic structure that they had been studying and talking about for years, it was real. And for scientists, that was, I think that they were like overjoyed with that, but then scared by it at the same time. Like, we've just made this discovery. We've made this horrible discovery, too.
Right, exactly. They were terrified of what it could do.
Right.
They knew because it was nuclear, fission. And they knew that.
Yeah, it's fission. They're basically compressing it, and they're using there was two types of bomb, Fat Boy and Slim Boy, I guess, or whatever. And there were two different types of bomb. Uranium, the other was plutonium based, but they were both atomic level bombs. And that just I think for now in our day and age, the nuclear bombs we have today, those bombs are the fuses for these new atom bomb, hydrogen bombs we have today. Those, because the hydrogen bombs today are like 40 times more powerful than those. I mean, that laid waste to a city. That you drop a hydrogen bomb, you're going to lay waste to a whole section of a state or something. You're going to
lay waste to the environment.
Yeah, exactly.
And that, people do not realize that, and they don't talk about it. Even a tactical nuke these days will destroy a great deal of environment. And I think if people realize that, they would not be gung-ho on these bombs or tactical nukes. They will destroy the ground. The ground will become radiation. The air will become radiated. The sky will become radiated.
Yes. You know what they're saying now? They're finding out that a lot of the steel that's been manufactured since after the 1950, they're detecting isotopes of radiation that's still there in it. That because we released all
Right.
this atmosphere, and it goes everywhere. You just can't contain it. And so a lot of they say that steel before the first atomic bomb launched and afterward, you can study them in the lab and they're totally different. There's different isotopes to them, and you can they say historians are going to be able to tell, like, this is steel before 1945, this is steel afterward, because that's one of the signatures of, and that tells you right there that's happening to steel. It's happening to water, humans, everything, man. So it's
Right,
crazy.
and Chernobyl, you can't go near it.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't.
And
No,
they're
can't
letting
trip there.
people go in there now. I'm
Right.
going, oh, I'm not going near it. They're telling you can go in on a tour, and they're saying, oh, it's safe now. Baloney.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is not safe.
Well, you
It does not go away. What? It has a half-life of 2 million years. Well, we're not going to be able to go in there.
going to outlive us. Yeah.
And there are now people who say, oh, well, I want to go in and see what happened. They say it's totally safe. It is not.
No.
We will never live or outlive this kind of radiation exposure.
Right.
And people don't understand that there is no nuclear weapon that we can outlive, because it will radiate everything around us.
Right. I agree. You're preaching to the choir. I think we should get rid of them all.
Yeah.
Will you go see Oppenheimer with me?
I will.
Wait, look, would it be a good date night movie, Oppenheimer?
I like to
You
see it.
need to go. You need to go. Like I said, I would love to see it again. There's so much going on that you just cannot comprehend it all. And, and he also, he did get married. He did have children.
Right.
But he also had a mistress.
Yeah, he was quite a player. He was a player.
He was, and he had a muse, this woman who was definitely his muse, even after he got married.
Right.
And she had been in the Communist Party when he dabbled in the Communist Party years before, but
Right.
he still saw her on the side. But that became tragic because of a fragile way that she fell. So there was, and then he married someone while she was still married to someone else.
Right. Yeah.
And married her because she got pregnant. So he had all this other personal stuff going on as well.
Right. Yeah.
But the bottom line was, he was such a genius that he was, and he did have a good sense of humor.
I heard that.
But it was just, he did.
Probably comes in handy if you've just built a device that can destroy the world. You probably should have a good sense of humor. Maybe it helps you sleep better at night. I don't know.
Yeah, he actually had a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people who didn't like him.
Right.
And they basically were so jealous of it, I think.
Yeah, sounds
I
like.
think that, because from being, a teenager and young 20s, he knew he was able to do so much because he was so intelligent.
Right.
And there were a lot of people that had a hard time with that. They were just plain jealous.
Yeah, I bet. Well, before we go, then I've got to ask you: did you see Barbie? Then did you do Barbieheimer?
I did not see Barbie, but I go eat
I know you
places,
should.
and like, with my blonde hair and blue eyes, I go places to eat, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Barbie!"
I would think you would think when you go to the movie, you'd you got your pink on right now. Well, actually, I hear it's a surprisingly deep movie. People say that it's not this like. Yeah, I've heard that about it.
I think it's the #1 movie, and I think, well, it's got to have something in it. But you know what? The people who are the Trump followers, once again, because they got to make a big deal out of everything, they're now saying that it's bashing men. Have you seen that?
I have heard that it's bashing.
Yes. They are so upset about the Barbie movie because they said it totally is about bashing men because they treat Ken so badly.
Ryan Gosling gets treated badly? No.
I don't see that.
They say that, that the character of Ken is treated so badly by Barbie's character and her friends' characters that it's bashing men. So they are now upset. You can't do anything without upsetting them.
Or men. We
So
have it so hard. Poor men. Good grief. I feel bad for us.
I mean, I don't know what they've done in the movie towards Ken that is so
But I've heard,
horrifying. Like that. I mean, it's the #1 movie in the country. So, okay, whatever. I
Yeah.
guess poor Ken he's being sexualized and he's being terrorized and he's being treated so horribly. So.
women are like, welcome to our world.
Exactly.
Maybe the problem is maybe the kid ain't being treated bad. He's just being treated like the way men have treated women. And after all this time, maybe they're just going to get taste of their own medicine. You know, kind of. Right. Probably what's more like.
That really bothers them.
Right.
Because in their opinion, women have never been treated badly. I guess.
I don't see that. I support a person who treats women pretty badly, so that makes sense too. Yeah, all right, well, thank you for the Oppenheimer review. I've been dying. We've been talking about going to see it. So we're definitely we'll go because I love that era of history. I'm a big science geek, as you know. So I've read some books about that era, you know, and about the science and a little bit about him, but and about the whole betrayal of the government. It's so many confluence of things. So we'll definitely kind of add that to our list to go see. You know, I don't know if Todd wants to see Barbie. I don't think I do. I think you have to like it. But I would like to see Barbie. I'll be the first to admit it. I'll be okay with seeing it, but I'd rather see Oppenheimer first, to be honest with you. So
yes, you must. It is tremendous. It really is tremendous.
We will go see it, and we can have a deeper conversation about it next time. Then, if that's okay. And and if we go see Barbie, we'll let you know that too, because let's say because they'll just be going to see a movie like you do look like Robbie Margot or whatever her name is. I could see where y'all could be total like related.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's doing so well. There must be something about it that's good. Right.
All right. Well, that's probably it for us. And we need to sign off and let you get back to being hot over there in your hot house. Get busy being hot again. And then we'll sign off if there's nothing else. And then we'll catch you next time then. Thank you for the movie review.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to seeing it. All right.
Okay, talk to you later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.